D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? So, I watched Star Trek Picard episode 2, and I was hoping that it would be better than the first episode. I didn't think the first episode was like overwhelmingly bad. It just wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And then there was this episode, which I thought was worse and everything. And I'll get into that a little bit more later and everything. There were some good things out of it, but for the most part, I didn't dislike this episode. It's just, it was just boring. I mean, it was so boring. Like, there's so much exposition upon exposition that I just don't even know, like, what, it's just crazy. Okay, so let's just talk about the episode a little bit. So here we go. So the episode starts off on Mars. And it's a flashback from 14 years ago when the synthetics destroyed the Planetian shipyards. I think that's what it's called. Now we see a bunch of these synths working alongside humans, and they're building all these ships and everything for Starfleet. And then the Sims, they all go crazy and everything, and this one synth, and he goes crazy, and he kills all these his co-workers. And then we see the Planetian shipyards get destroyed, and then the synthetic kills himself. And we see him when his little eyes change or whatever, and then he goes all crazy and everything. Now, I actually liked this part. I really liked. I don't like it when they in shows or in stories or whatever, and they're like, oh, this happened, and then they don't show you what happened, or they don't explain exactly what happened, or they don't go into further detail. Because I just go, I mean, I kind of got what you're saying, but I kind of would like to see it and everything. So I think that going further, I think that they need to show more of the Planetian shipyards and Mars and what happened there. So then following Daj's death, Picard seeks to track down her twin, Soji. I think that's her name, Soji. Anyways, so he's determined to track her down and everything, because that's her twin sister and everything, and there's always two and everything. So then, Alaris and Picard go back to Boston, and they investigate Daj's apartment. And now, finding the place completely scrubbed, this accompanied by the revelation that the assassins may have been a part of the Zhat Vash, I think that's how you pronounce it, an organization even more secretive than the Tal Shiar that holds a deep-rooted hatred for synthetics. And she used to be, I couldn't tell if she used to be part of the Tal Shiar and her husband wasn't, or if they both were, or I think she was, but he wasn't. It was kind of confusing. They don't explain everything, and they I don't know. And anyways, but it was fine. Anyway, so then we skip over to the Romulan reclamation site, the Borg cube. And so a relationship between Soji and Narek is getting hot and heavy in the sheets, if you get what I'm saying. And they're, talking about all this stuff. He's basically just, doing the long con with her so he can figure out something later. We'll get into that just a little bit later. And then Picard gets a visit from his doctor friend so he can get a go-ahead to go up into space. And he basically tells him that he's dying. He's got something going on with his brain. They didn't say what was wrong with him, but I believe it was a callback from the last episode of Star Trek Next Generation. But he just basically tells him he's terminal and he's not gonna survive this. So that kind of bummed me out, because if it's Star Trek Picard, is he gonna die at the end of this season, or is this season gonna keep going? What's that all entail? I'm very curious about that, because if it's just one season, that's lame. Only 10 episodes, that's lame. So then Picard goes to Seattle and he appeals to Starfleet for a ship. But he is denied by Admiral Kristen Clancy. Now, while I was watching this woman yell at Picard, I wanted to jump through the screen and be like, you better watch your tone, the way you talk to my homeboy, Jean-Luc. You know what I'm saying? She was getting all sassy and everything, and she was all like, basically telling me he betrayed Starfleet with that little interview that he did. But hey, they did wrong. And she was trying to say, like, all these 13 aliens said they would leave the Federation if they help the Romulans. And I say, well, then let them leave the Federation. Call their bluff. Let them leave the Federation if they want to be that way. But you swore to protect people and everything. And it totally, Picard was right. That's not the Starfleet was no longer Starfleet. So he's all mad, so he begins to assemble his own crew, inviting Agnes Girardi and an estranged Raffi to join him, and everything, and that's a little bit further down the line, but he basically goes to Raffi's house in the desert. It's basically just a fancy trailer in the desert, and he's all like, she's all like, get off my property and everything, and he's all like, she's like, there's nothing you can say, and he's all like, Romulans are secretive on Earth and everything, and she's like, is that the 62 Bordeaux or whatever she says, and he's like, and she's like, ah, crap, and everything. So, at the Romulan reclamation site, Soji is helping dissect and collect Borg parts. For what, I have no idea, and I will be honest, I really don't care. Everything that went on with the Borg cube with that Dr. Soji chick, I don't care. I really don't care about that character at all. She's so boring, and it's so, I just don't care. So then that Admiral Clancy lady, she informs Commodore O of Picard's request in good faith and asks her to look into it. And now I wonder why a Vulcan is working with the Romulans, and I'll get into that in just a hot second. It's just a little bit weird, but she says she'll look into it and everything, and then she notifies. Commodore O notifies Lieutenant Rizzo, who is really a Romulan in disguise, and to have her uncover her brother, to stay on his mission at the reclamation site and everything. And they're trying to figure out where the synthetic nest is, so they can obviously destroy all of them. And then at the reclamation site, Rizzo appears to Narek by holocommunicator and reveals him to be her operative and her brother. And then Rizzo warns Narek that if he does not persuade Soji to reveal the location of her fellow synthetics, that she would be forced to take more extreme measures. Now, what those extreme measures are, I don't know. And again, I don't care. I find that part of this, I find that it's all kind of boring. This was a lot of exposition. It was a lot of boring exposition, and not everything was explained. This was not the best second episode. So, like I said, overall, this episode was boring. Are we ever going to get to space? I mean, how can you have a Star Trek show without being in space? I mean, like, at all. Like, we have that Borg cube, that's all we get, but that's not enough for me. And there's a lot of exposition, and I personally need more action in my Star Trek shows. I mean, the thing about Star Trek that I love the most is the relationship between the crew, and I think that that's what's lacking in this show, very much. And I want to see the connection between the characters, and I'm not getting any of that. I'm not feeling it. I'm not getting any of that. It's just Picard getting yelled at and talking to random strangers and everything. And I'm just getting a lot of angry characters and a lot of sad characters and a lot of exposition. So I need more space. And I hopefully will get to that in the next episode. So, tell me, what did you guys think about this episode of Star Trek Picard? Did you like this episode? Did you not like this episode? Were there things you liked, but things you didn't like? How did you feel about my whole review on this? You can go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next episode of Star Trek Picard. You guys have a good day. Bye.